Hey everyone, welcome to the Q&A with the CFO of ACSL. As people start to come in, we're just going to take this opportunity to run through some key pieces of information. So I'm your host, Henry, and here on the panel as well, we have Kensuke, our CFO, as well as co-host Annie. So just running through some upcoming dates as we approach the submissions. So you can see that today on Sunday, we have the CFO Q&A, and next Saturday is when the regional cases are due, and you will all receive an email sometime within the next 48 hours detailing how you are supposed to submit your case. On Monday, September the 14th, regional finalists are announced, which means 10 people from each region will be announced going forward to the regional presentations on September the 19th. And don't forget that on September the 15th, we have another workshop that is called Delivering Your Pitch, which will help finalist teams prepare for the live speeches. So I like to take this time to just run through 3 key frequently asked questions that we've been getting. So the first one is, can I get into direct contact with Kensuke or the ACSL team to ask questions about the case competition? So we've decided that in the interest of fairness, in ensuring that all competitors have the same access to information, the ACSL team will not be answering questions. So please refrain from contacting them through details listed on their website. So please ask any questions that you have during this Q&A. The next question is, can we use Google Slides or other forms of presentation software besides Microsoft PowerPoint? So you will need to submit your solutions in the .pptx format. So what that means is you can see at the screenshot at the corner of this screen, you'll see that when you download something from Google Slides, for example, you will have the option to download it in PPTX format. So the third question is, the case brief mentions that submissions will require a team ID. So, team ID along with the case submissions instructions will be emailed to you within the next 48 hours and will be used as a way of identifying your team's submission anonymously. So now I'll hand it over to Annie to introduce our case partner.
So our case partner is ACSL, which is a Japanese autonomous drone technology company that's transforming the social implementation of drones. So ACSL is the only listed drone manufacturer in Japan, and they use leading autonomous control and advanced autopilot technologies. So ACSL, what they do is they develop business models that are tailored to customers' needs. And they aim to lead the new industrial revolution of the global skies. So now I'll pass it over to Henry to give us a quick introduction to our panelists for today, ACSL CFO.
Thanks, Annie. So we're really excited to have with us Kensuke, the Chief Financial Officer of ACSL. So he's been with the company for 3 years, but prior to that, he has also a lot of experience working in the consulting and the private equity industry. So prior to joining ACSL, he was on the operations arm of the private equity firm KKR, and he also has experience working as an associate at McKinsey. So I'll hand it over to Kensuke to give a quick introduction.
Hello, this is Kensuke. I'm a CFO at ACSL, and we are so honored to be involved in this regional case of TGCC. And I'm also so excited to have this Q&A session with promising students. So I'm too excited for this event.
Thank you, Kensuke. So now ACSL has a very intricate business model, and we saw in the Google form that we sent out and also from the Q&A section that students have lots of questions for you. So first we'll go through some prepared questions, and then we're going to take some audience questions which you can submit through the Q&A section. So just to kick it off, let's start with a broader question. What are your company's core values?
Okay, so basically we are drone manufacturer, and we have the 3 core values. First one is our technology capability. So we are developing our control software by ourselves, and a few companies in globally which can make the control technology by themselves. So we are much advanced in that technology. And the second one is we have the wide customer base. So now we are serving the mainly large entities in Japan, and we know there are many operations of them. So we are trying to install our drone to their operation, and we have much knowledge of their operation. that enable us to differentiate from other customers. And the third one is our relationship with the government. We have the close relationship with Japanese government, and the drone industry is highly related to the regulations, and those regulations are different by country and region. And we have a close relationship with the Japanese government, so we are a very good position in the domestic market.
Thanks, Kensuke. So how would you describe the profile of your customers? Do you have a target consumer?
Okay, so as I mentioned, we are serving the large entities mainly, and because first one is we are trying to install our drone to their operation, and once they install our drones in daily operation, drones number of drone installed will be large. So we think the installing to large entities can be scalable for our business, and our main targets are, there are three areas. First one is inspection. Second one is delivery. And the third one is disaster reconnaissance. And the first one is we are mainly serving to the power plant company or the manufacturers or plant companies. And the second one is we are serving to the logistics company. And the disaster area, we are serving the mainly for the government.
Thank you. So another question we received from the Google form was, what are ACSL's current marketing strategies?
Okay, so we are selling the drone, but we do not sell at the beginning. So we are adopting the step-by-step approach. As a first step, we conduct proof of concept. So we demonstrate at the client site, and we bring our drone, and the clients doesn't have to purchase our drone. And with that drone, we verify if the drone can do what clients wants to do, and if it pays economically, and also we verify the drone can do technically. And once we verify that, we customize our drone to the client. And once specification is fixed, we sell our drone to the client. So those drones are most drones are tailored to the customers.
Thanks, Kensuke. And how have you adapted your business model to suit a post-pandemic world?
Okay, so before and after the COVID situation, we are not changing our business model. So let me introduce how the COVID situation affect our business. So first of all, in Japan, we are refraining from going outside, and also all business activities are stopped or slowed down. So that affects our business as well, because we can do not demonstration, and also we cannot ship our drone to the customers. But in the longer term, we see that this the COVID situation will not be so negative for us, but because the COVID situation will accelerate the movements towards the non-contact solution or remote control solution in Japan. So those trends will not be negative for us in longer term.
Thank you for that. So from the Q&A section, we've got some questions coming in. So Ari just wants to ask about the business model. So for the case, are only solutions regarding global expansion welcome, or can teams propose solutions that are based on the company's overall business model?
Okay, so this is the current the business in global market. So we are mainly do the business in Japan, and most, I mean, more than 95% sales is coming from the Japanese market. But we see our position is pretty unique if we see the global market as well, because there are few drone manufacturers globally. So there are many drone manufacturers in China, but their main focus is mostly in consumers market. So we do believe that there's a much potential in global market for us as well. So we are trying to expand our business. First, as a first step, we expand our business to Singapore, and we also see the potential in the US. So we have the company which we invested as a minority in the US. So those two areas we are focusing as a kind of the first step of our global expansion.
Thanks, Kensuke. It's definitely a very exciting time for ACSL as a company that's looking to go global. I guess, a slightly different question that a lot of participants have been asking is, are there any sectors that ACSL does not do business with due to legal or ethical issues?
Okay, so legally, we can do the business if the area is okay to use drone, but ethically, we do not expand our business to military area because our founder, his belief is not using our drone in military sector. So if their inquiry is coming from that sector, we won't do that business there.
So we've got a more, I guess, detailed question here. So what is the turnover rate for clients who order a POC but do not proceed to order more drones?
It's not the fixed number, but roughly it's 50 to 70% clients will go to the next step. I mean, from the POC to the purchasing the drone. And the remaining part, the clients wants to the conducted POC, but they won't purchase our drone. Usual case is once we demonstrate at the client site, we can do technically if we invest more, but it doesn't pay at this moment. So the client decide, okay, so drone can be used, but not this time. So they just pending that investment for now. But we believe once the technology advanced more and we can do the drone installation less expensive, we can relaunch that client conversation again.
Definitely. And I think that's also something that the competitors can have a think about. So, thank you, Kensuke, for answering those questions. I'm sure we all have a better understanding of ACSL strategy and competitive advantage from a business standpoint. But just shifting gears a little, given how technologically advanced drones are, I'm sure the students have some technical questions for you. So let's delve a little deeper into how ACSL's drones work.
So first up for the technical questions, we have, how do the drones navigate GPS denied spaces?
Okay, so first of all, most drone uses the GPS information to understand its location. But there are many situations where GPS cannot be used, like inside of the building or near the building, because the GPS reflects in somewhere around. So, and there are many situations and the non-GPS information. In those areas, we are using the visual SLAM technology, which is using the image processing technology. So we have the stereo camera. It works as a kind of the eyes of human. So those stereo cameras detect the image, and by processing image, the drone can identify where it is, and also it can understand how far from the wall or how far from the floor. So by using those information, our drone can fly under non-GPS situation, and which is a pretty rare technology. So we are much advanced if we see the global market as well.
Definitely. And another way in which ACSL's technology is quite advanced is the cloud, so how it uses the cloud. So how is cloud-based technology currently integrated into the software?
Okay, so we are using the cloud-based technology as well, but our drone is not using cloud when it's flying. So we are calling it edge computing technology. So our drone is calculating its operation within that drone. So it's not sending a signal or any communicating to the cloud in flying, because if we communicate with cloud, it might disconnect suddenly, or sometimes the signal can be delayed. So our technical philosophy is make drones smarter. So we are doing the all calculation in drone side, and but once it's land after flying, the drone can send the data gathered by the camera. It's sent to the cloud, and at that cloud, we can analyze the image, and we can use those image to fit the client's needs.
Yeah, that's so amazing. It's like really great what you guys are doing. And it makes me wish I studied engineering instead of economics. So now we've got some more technical questions, I guess, from the audience. So let's see now. So Daphne wants to ask you if you can give examples of how you customize your drones for your customers.
Okay, so the customer's needs is totally different by customers. So for example, for inspection, we customize our drone to fit the customer's needs. For example, we change our camera. Some customers wants to see the crack of 2 millimeters, and some customers want to detect the heat information. And so based on that demand, we change our camera. And if we do our drone to the delivery use, the specification can change totally. So we have the catcher. Catcher is the function to pick the pack, and also it can release once it's landed. So we customize based on those demands. So mostly we customize hardware part, but we can also change the software part as well. We can tailor how to fly. For example, if there any accidents occurs in flying, if the clients wants to came back to the original point, we can design that. And but in other case, if the clients wants to land at that point, we can also do that. So those what kind of the route we can design based on the customer's needs.
Thanks, Kensuke. And I've just got another tech-related question for you. So this one is from Lai Yung. So does the drone in ACSL have remote control, and how can it become autonomously controlled?
Okay, so our basic idea is fully autonomous control. So once we design the route beforehand, the drone can fly based on that design route. And in flying, we do not send any remote control signal. And if any accident occurs, of course we can send, but the other one basically fly autonomously. But the most consumer drones, those are all remote control. Some of them have the kind of the autonomous flying function, but the applicable situation is pretty limited. So much information of GPS, and also the pretty limited distance. And so the autonomous flight level, we are much advanced than competitors.
Thank you for clarifying. So we've got one more technical question. So on average, how long does it take to design a brand new drone model?
So we have the two platforms. One is mid-sized drone, PF2, and one is smaller size drone, Mini. And basically it takes 3 years from the designing to release. So before we released PF2, we had PF1, which was released 3 to 4 years ago, and we released the PF2 3 years later. So yeah, that one new model, it takes about 2 to 3 years.
Thank you for that. So in this case study, we gave the students a lot of information about ACSL's financials. And we saw that competitors have lots of questions for you about like the sales, the budgets, and more. So we just love to ask you some questions related to these areas.
Okay.
So how has COVID-19 affected ACSL's balance sheet, and how do you think sales have been impacted so far?
Okay, so the COVID situation, all businesses are stopped or delayed. So that means our business also slowed down. So if we see the quarterly basis, our sales decreased compared to the last year because from the first quarter, we couldn't do any business like demonstration or shipping. But if we see the annual base, we do not see the much negative effect because the demand itself is not disappearing, because our demand from the client is how to solve the labor shortage and how to implement the unmanned system. So those demand is not disappearing or more accelerating in the current situation. So for the annual basis, we will pick up those demand, and we will do not see the much negative effect from that. And from the view of the balance sheet, we have the enough cash. We have about 35 million US dollar at the end of the Q1 of our fiscal year, and our sales is last year it's about 1.3 billion US dollar. So given that business size, we have enough cash, and we do not have need for the capex for now. So the balance sheet wise, we are pretty healthy situation for now.
It's great to hear that ACSL is in such a healthy position. So moving forward, this question is very, very much related to the case, and I think it's quite crucial for the students. So one student wanted to know, is the company financially prepared for new big investments? And what is the anticipated budget for implementing the internationalization strategy that they come up with?
Okay, yes, we need to invest to expand globally. We are not having the specific numbers disclosed, but we cannot do that with small amount of the budget because to expand the business, we need to have the set the branch at the local to enter that region because we do not have any branch for now. And the second one is we need to hire some people locally, and also we need to have those resources internally, I mean in headquarters, because we do not have the dedicated person for the overseas expansion. So we need to have those human resources. And the third one is we need to promote ourselves. In Japan, we have the presence, but globally we do not have. So to show ACSL is the industrial drone manufacturers, and that we can help the labor shortage and man system installation, to let them know at the beginning we need to promote by promoting in exhibition or some PR ways. So those promotion we need to spend to at the beginning. So those area again, so the setting the branch and hiring the people and promoting ourselves in that region, we need to spend that investment.
Thanks. So the other financial question is, we have a question from Ragav. So your investments and assets have increased from 31 million to 387 million in yen from March 2019 to March 2020. So could you clarify what you have invested in?
Okay, so we are pretty keen on investing the technology expansion. As a disclosed based, we invested in the drone technology company in the US last year. And on top of that, we invested in several companies. They are not disclosed, but they are mostly a technology-based company. Our philosophy of investment is to expand or to enhance our technology advancement by having the related technology to our control technology. So we are drone manufacturers and we are focusing on control technology itself, but we need to have, for example, hardware technology as well. And also, for example, some unique navigation technology, if it fits our technology, that would be also the potential investment. So those technology, we are mainly investing in startup company, which has the unique investment. And from the context of this case, we are keen on investing overseas companies as well. We are not limiting to Japan, and because not only technology, once we invest to the company, we can use their connection to expand our business as well.
Right, thank you for clarifying. So the next question is an audience question coming from Khalid, who, judging by the question, has had a very, very thorough read of the financials that we provided. Good on you, Khalid. So the question they wanted to ask was, the current assets are significantly higher than current liabilities, yet the operating income is negative. So could you please expand on the expenses that are not mentioned on the financial sheets?
Okay, so our main expense is, the first one is, of course, the COGS. We are selling the drone, so the material cost and also the labor cost of assembling. And for the COGS, I think the material cost is the biggest part. And apart from that COGS, the most largest one is R&D expenses. So R&D expenses mainly consist of the R&D engineers, and also we have the outsourcing budget for R&D. We are outsourcing our non-core technology to other vendors, and I think the following items would be the promotional cost. We do not have much promotional cost because we are not promoting ourselves in Japan so much. But in the next couple of years, we will see the promoting cost mainly in overseas. But if we look at the past financial numbers, most are coming from R&D, and it's followed by other labor cost, like the sales or the admin part, but it doesn't include much promotional cost.
Thank you very much, Kensuke, for that very detailed breakdown. So the next question is from someone who also has clearly had a very detailed look at the case. So this is a question from Tice. So could Kensuke please explain in a more detailed manner about ACSL's partnership with Aeronext and how it impacts ACSL's profitability?
Okay, so yeah, it's surprising seeing the press release last Monday, I guess. So So Aeronex is the one of startup company which is doing the drone business in Japan. Our partnership is the mainly technology part. So Aeronex has a unique technology which is called 4D gravity. Maybe you can see the detail in their homepage. And we partner with them, but those partners is one of our partnership. I mean, we are drone manufacturers, and we can collaborate with many drone players. So Elnex is one of them. They're doing the 4D gravity technology. We can use that technology if the clients wants to have that technology. So the Aeronex technology is kind of the one of option we can offer to the client. So we have other partnership as well, and we are not having the exclusive partnership with anyone. So we can partner with Aeronex, and if other drone players has some unique technology, we can also partner with them, and we can offer as an option to the client. And we are also having the partnership with other drone players in Japan. It's called Sensing Robotics. They are not manufacturing drone, but they are doing the drone business. They are analyzing the image captured by drone, and they have some customers. So we can provide our drone to their system, and they can provide the whole system to the client. So those partnership we can expand not only Aeronex, but Aeronex is one of our partnership.
Thank you, Kensuke. That's definitely something for the students to consider when they're looking at developing a strategy. So moving forward, we just wanted to ask you, what was the cause of the decline in national projects for the fiscal year ending March 2020?
So national project, it's a bit tricky financially. First of all, national project, we are serving the several national projects. Because as I mentioned, we have the close relationship with the government. So the government launched some national project related to the drone, and we always participate to those national projects. And as a business perspective, by participating those national projects, we can influence to set the regulation to the government, because the government cares how national project went, and when they develop the regulations, they see that the results from those projects. And from financial perspective, we need to pay the expenses for the national project of that year. For example, if we conduct national project this year, I mean the fiscal year ending March 2021, we need to expense by ourselves first, but we will get subsidy in that following the year. So if we do the business this year, we will get the subsidy in the fiscal year ending March 2022. And those subsidy is recorded in both sales and non-operating income as well.
Thank you, Kensuke. So just as a reminder to everyone, if you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see that there is a button called Q&A. So here you can type any of your questions, and you also have the ability to upvote questions. So if you see someone else who has asked a question that you're also interested in, please make sure to thumbs it up, and it's gonna make its way to the top of the list. So starting with the most upvoted question so far, we have a question from Manisha. So what are some problems that you faced trying to expand? Oh, and my screen has gone crazy there. Give me 1 second. So what are some problems that you face trying to expand and globalize your company?
Okay, so there I think there are three parts. First one is, as I mentioned, we do not have internal resource to expand globally. So we have some members who can do the business in English, and they can making the relationship with local partners, but they are basically based in Japan. So first, we need to have the internal resource to do global business. And the second one is we do not have any relation so far with local partners. If we install our drone to the large entities, we believe we need to have the connection with those large entities, and we need to have the local partners in that area. So if we do want to do business in Singapore, we can not reach out to the large entities directly. So we need to have some bridge between us. To develop those local partners is the second one. And the third one is regulation of drone is totally different by region. And we know the regulation in Japan, and we have some knowledge globally, but to fly drone or to do the business in drone area, we need to have deeper knowledge on that, and we are back in that for now. So that is the third area we need to focus.
So now we have a very interesting question from William, who would like to know, who are ACSL's major competitors, if there are any, and why are they major competitors?
Okay, I'd like to say we do not have any competitors, but if we look at the Japanese market, we do not see much competitors because we do not have the many drone manufacturers in Japan because they do not have control technology. But if we see the global market, of course, the drone manufacturers which are making the consumer's drone can be a competitor because they have the basic technology of the drone. So most consumers' drones are developed in China. So that can be a competitor from the view of the drone manufacturer. And also, we see some local players which are making the drone in their country, in Europe and in the US as well. So they can be also our competitors. But again, but a few companies are making drone by themselves. So there are many drone players by region. But those players we can collaborate as the different layer. They are serving as a servicer. We are providing our drone as a manufacturer. So those the role we can play. So, but there should be some competitors by region.
Definitely. And I think, that's something for competitors to think about as they approach constructing their case, is to, look at the whole global economy and see if there are any major competitors. So we have, a slightly different question here from Maria. So one that's political in nature. So do you believe that the tension between the US and China has been beneficial in any way to your company?
Yes. If we look at the first Japanese market, it's pretty beneficial because between the relationship in China and the US, many countries are paying attention to the security perspective. So the drone before many companies in many countries are using the Chinese drone because they're pretty capable and pretty cheap. But recently, there are many discussion. Is it safe to use foreign drones in the sensitive area, because the drone can identify the space, and also drone can capture the image of there, and it can feed to the server easily. So many countries regard drone as a kind of the sensitive device. So the extreme case is the US. They banned importing the Chinese drone, and they also banned using Chinese drone in the US market, especially in the industrial area. And in Japan, we are not saying we are banning the Chinese drone. We are just saying that the security is important. But we believe the many countries will follow, or at least they will care about the security perspective. So that is changing the dynamics of the drone market, because beforehand the Chinese drone is being used everywhere, but the security discussion is kind of a new trend. So we are not, yeah, it's difficult to say. Yeah, it can be beneficial for us because it's changing the dynamics of the industrial drone market.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. So I know that in one of the workshops we previously had, John talked to us about the pestle analysis. So these political and legislative concerns are definitely something that students can consider. So just moving forward, so I can't read Korean, so this student has entered their name in Korean, but they would like to know, is the goal of the case to increase the sales of the company, or just to help the company enter a potentially bigger and international market?
Yeah, so we're disclosed our midterm strategy, midterm election last month. And in that midterm strategy, we are targeting $1 billion sales in 2030. And we are trying to expand our business $55 million in 2022. And as a global expansion, if we can have the 10% of our total sales, we can say it's a pretty successful, because for now we do not have almost zero revenue for the global market. But if we can achieve 10% of our total sales, we can say it's a huge advance of our global competition.
Definitely. Just before we move on to the next question, we sent you guys a poll earlier, just seeing which region people are joining us from. So I'll just share the results with everyone. So we see that, we have people from all around the world. Shout out to the people from North America, where it is currently, I believe, 5:42 a.m. So thanks for joining us today. But moving on to the next question. So again, this is from someone with a Korean name, so I'm sorry if I can't pronounce it. But is the goal of the case to increase the sales of the company, or to help the company enter a bigger market?
Okay, so as a goal, yeah, our ultimate goal is to the number of player in global market. It's I mean, in the context of drone manufacturer, but it will not happen in the next 2 to 3 years. But as a first step to achieve that goal, we need to have the presence at least in the global market. It can be some part like Asia, Europe, Africa, America, I don't know. But yeah, at least in 2 to 3 years to achieve that ultimate goal, we need to have the presence in some region other than Japan.
So we've got another question here about this global expansion strategy. So sorry if I butcher your name, but Thais wants to know, what was the strategy used by ACSL to expand to the US and Singapore, and why did the company choose these strategies?
Okay. Yes, we chose the Singapore and the US as a kind of the first step. First, Singapore. We had some connection in Singapore because we have the Singapore Venture Capital as our main shareholder. So with that connection, we can leverage their network to expand Singapore business. And also the Singapore itself is pretty similar to Japan in the context of the infrastructure. They have much advanced infrastructure, and they have also the demand for inspection. And also the Singapore can be hub of Southeast Asian market. And of course, we do not have much resource, but once we can have the presence in Singapore, we can use that presence, we can leverage that presence in ASEAN market. So we chose Singapore is a good fit as a first step. And US, that is because we invested in the company called Automodality, which is doing the drone control technology. Also, they have the connection with the local potential customers. So by having their technology and integrating their technology to our drone, they can deliver more high capable drone to those customers. So we see the US would be the next potential market for now. But it's pretty important for us. Singapore is in Asia, and we have less time gap. That helps us a lot because we do not have local branch for now. We are doing the business in Japan, so doing the business in West Coast is pretty difficult given the time difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking in the chat and I see, people from all sorts of time zones. So it's definitely good that us are in similar ones. So we have next a question from Jaganath. So when going global, would you recommend focusing on one country or multiple countries over many continents?
Yeah, we haven't decided yet. We can expand in parallel to several countries. And of course, the focusing on one country can be an option. I think what we need to consider is how much we need to spend at the same time. So as I mentioned, to expand globally, we need to have branch, and we need to have the resource, and we need to promote, and it requires much investment. And we need to understand when is the best time to invest. And the market situation we need to consider, and also what kind of demands in their market. So, for example, in advanced countries, the country which has many infrastructure, we can leverage our knowledge of infrastructure inspection to that country. But if those countries have the mainly demand for long distance delivery of drone, we do not have such a demand for now in Japan. So we need to develop that solution at the beginning. So what kind of the demands we need to also figure out, and how similar or how much we can leverage our current knowledge gathered in Japan to that country we need to consider.
Yeah, this is definitely something students should consider. I highly recommend having a good listen of Kinsuki's response. So the next question from Javi is related to the financials of the company. So he would like to know, what do you think the reasons why steps 3 to 4 are not growing are, and what are the feedback from clients, as well as so far, what has the company done?
Okay, yes, the step 3 and 4, we are selling our drone to the customers. There are several reasons. Now, first one is we record step 3 and 4 as a kind of the deal, just selling the drone. But most companies are asking us to customize the drone and sell that drone. And also by using that drone, they ask us to demonstrate. So we are customizing many drones, but we are not selling those drones. We are just using those drones in demonstration. For example, we served to Japan Post, the only player of the post company in Japan. We developed several drones last year, and we conducted annual project for them. And we developed several drones, but we are not selling those drones because they just want to do demonstration, and also they want to verify if it's economically pay and if it's technically it's okay. So those drones cannot be recorded step 3 and 4. Those cells are all recorded in step 1 and 2. That is the first reason. And yeah, it's more financial part. And second one is we thought once we develop the drone and that drone can verify, okay, by using this drone, the clients can cut some cost. Once we verify that, we believe the clients start installing to the actual operation. But what happened last year was like this. So when we agreed that clients can cut cost by using our drone, but the clients need to deploy those drones to the actual operation area. So the people who needs to use drone is different from the people we are talking. So we need to develop more user interface or user experience. So those additional function, we agreed with the clients. Okay, so we need to invest or we need to develop more to easy to use drone. So we not expanding the step 3 and 4 cells last year. On the other hand, we have the more cells in step 1 and 3, so customization. That is why we have that breakdown.
Thank you. And something I might do now is just go down the Q&A list, because I see there are a few other questions related to the steps and how the revenue is accounted for those. So we have a question from Semay. So he says that I noticed that steps 3 and 4 don't make as much money as steps 1 and 2 on the financial statements. So can you provide more insight as to why that happens? For example, are customers investing in a proof of concept and the proof of concept just fails more often?
Okay, yeah. So step 3 and 4, we are selling the drone, and those drones are high-end model that costs about 3 million Japanese yen to 4 million Japanese yen. Of course, it varies, depends on the customization. But the step 1 and 2, it's varies based on the scope of the project. So some project is pretty large, so we can make the large sales and profit with one project. But we need to sell the drone, and most the price is not changing so drastically. But why we are doing step 3 and 4 is because step 1 and 2, we need to have internal resource to customize or to demonstrate. We need to at least assign some people. But step 3 and 4, we are selling the drone, but we are not assembling our drone by ourselves. We are asking our outsourcers to assemble it. So it means we don't have to have the much resource to expand step 3 and 4. So we are calling it scalable. So the step 3 and 4 is more scalable than steps 1 and 2, and which will lead to our sales expansion. So we are targeting after spending several times in step 1 and 2, we are trying to shift the customers to step 3 and 4 and are having more orders from those customers.
Thank you for clarifying. So just like following off our discussion about these different steps, Shiven wants to ask, so for steps 1 and 2, what is your existing client retention ratio? And if they did leave, do you know the reason why?
Yeah. Step 1 and 2, we all roughly we have the, as mentioned, 50 to 70% clients will have the recalling the order from step 1 and 2 as well, and most of them first start with the very small project. So they want to see how drone works in their actual site. And once they verify, okay, the drone can be used, they shift to the step 2, or sometimes they again do the step 1 in another site. And some of the clients see the, okay, drone is a bit too fast to use, and we are not calling they are dropped. We are just saying they are pending.
Right, I see. So next up, we have a question from Ari. So he asked that for the case, are only solutions regarding global expansion welcome, or can teams propose solutions that are based on the company's overall business model and not necessarily global in nature?
I think the most approach are welcome if the solution can be okay. So for example, okay, so ACSL doesn't have to make a drone, and they shift to business to more another case, and it's more promising. I think it's a great proposal. So we highly appreciate any proposal to expand our business.
So the next question is from Suraban. So we're sorry for the delay, Suraban, in getting to your question, but he would like to know, so at the moment, ACSL is mainly focusing on commercial drones. Are you willing to tap into the consumer drone industry, and how quickly would you be able to build a drone for that?
For now, we are not having any plan to expand the consumer market because the consumer market is totally different segment. First of all, the price is totally different, and we believe we can do not leverage our core capability because the consumer drones, which doesn't need customization by demand. So the key things to expand the business in consumer drone is make more drones with affordable price, which is pretty advanced in the Chinese player for now. So we do not see the potential there for us. So yes, we do not approach there.
Great. So the next question, so we have a big one from Harnat. So they've got quite a few questions. So I'm just gonna pick one. Sorry, Har, but we have quite a lot of questions to get through. So I'll pick number 3B. So how much is ACSL's long-term debt, and where does that long-term debt come from?
For now, our business model doesn't need the debt because we, as I mentioned, we do not have our facility to construct drone. So we are asking our partners to assemble. So we do not need large capex. That means we do not have much cash, which means we do not have much debt for now. But in the case we will have the debt, it will be the case of some acquisition of some company, because we are now investing to the startup company, and which is mainly minority investment. So we are not fully acquire them, but if we see the potential of the company, that company is definitely promising to expand that business, and we believe we should acquire 100% of them. In that case, we will definitely have the debt, yeah. So I think that would be the only case for now to have the debt in longer term.
So just having a look at the time right now, it's 6 p.m. Sydney time, Beijing time. So unfortunately, that's all the time that we have today. I'm really sorry everyone whose questions didn't get answered, but thank you so much for sending us such thoughtful and creative questions. So maybe one of the students that have asked questions today in the Q&A section will go on to be a regional or even global finalist. And thank you so much, Kinsuke, for volunteering your time. How often do high school students get to hear firsthand from a company CFO? So you provided us with such an amazing experience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was really a pleasure, and I'm so excited to have this session.
Thank you so much, Kinsuke. Looking forward to receiving everyone's submissions.